We have West Gallery and East Gallery, as a matter of fact. Further questions? Representative Pafford for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Chair Hudson, this is kind of like an annual question for me, so you know where I'm going to go on this one. In terms of Department of Elder Affairs, duplicated numbers on wait lists are about 81,000, unduplicated about 45,000. Will this budget lower those numbers at all, or can we see either those become stable, or do you think they'll grow?
Representative Hudson, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Department of Elder Affairs received an over 5% increase in their total funding and added over 4,200 additional slots to nursing home diversion programs and community-based care issues for our elders.
Representative Pafford for a follow-up.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Actually, I'll move on. APD, there's about 20,000 people on the wait lists. About a number of them in my district have waited almost 10 years. Is there anything in the budget that will eliminate or draw down those numbers?
Representative Hudson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We have increased funding for APD next year by an increase of almost 8.2%.
Representative Pafford, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In terms of hospital banding for reimbursement rates, during committee, I had brought up the scenario of St. Mary's Hospital offering children's services at the hospital, and there not being a definition of band that would kind of define a St. Mary's. Do you know if the agency in this budget found that hybrid that would provide a St. Mary's a increase in funding as opposed to just the Medicaid and emergency services that it provides now?
Representative Hudson, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Representative, we did not adopt the rate banding proposal that was contemplated and was presented to us. So, no, there was no hybrid presented as a result.
Representative Pafford, recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In terms of the 20,000 folks that are on that APD wait list, there's also a lawsuit against the state of Florida that seeks to wipe away that 20,000 person wait list. Is there enough money in the budget right now to do that if the folks prevail?
Representative Hudson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. While I don't think it's appropriate to discuss the ongoing challenge of a court case, especially since I'm not an attorney, I would contemplate that the agency certainly has the ability to work within its means and to address those circumstances as they come forward.
Representative Pafford for a follow-up.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I noticed that almost $2.4 million was removed from the Homeless Coalition Challenge grants. Specifically, Palm Beach County provides, they are the agent, if you will, the fiscal agent for the local coalition and provides services. The county picks up some of those costs, but it really relies on the state of Florida. Is it your opinion that the county will have to come up with more dollars to provide their current level of service without those state funds?
Representative Hudson, recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think if you look at that issue across the 67 counties of Florida, that issue is largely dependent on the individual county it's in, and as a result, I think it should be handled locally.
Representative Pafford, recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In terms of maternal, infant, and early childhood visiting grant, is the $3.4 million federal dollars?
Representative Hudson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yes, those would have been federal dollars.
Representative Reed, Betty Reed, for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question, and I started to ask it earlier, and you told me I was out of order. My question is, eliminating the Homeless Coalition, and you said that there's possibly funds in the local government. Could you direct me to where I would go to look for that?
Representative Hudson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yes, it is in my opinion, a local issue. At the same token, there are federal funds available for that as well, and the staff would be happy to meet with you and discuss that at greater length.